Nigel's made it clear he wants to destroy the Conservative Party, and I don't embrace people that want to destroy my party and hurt the British people.
And so let us now welcome to Drive here on Times Radio, the Home Secretary, James Cleverly. James, good afternoon to you.
Hi, John. How are you?
And well, thanks for coming on the programme this afternoon. So, look, we are just over 2 weeks in. We're in the third week of the campaign. And I know, James, that opinion polls are opinion polls. They are not votes. It's not over yet. But if these opinion polls, add up to anything to be taken seriously, you need a big game changer, don't you? Is your manifesto tomorrow, is that going to be enough to make much difference?
Well, look, I'm very proud of the manifesto that we're going to put forward. I was involved in its production, obviously, and we will keep putting our case to the British people. We have a bold plan. We have a credible, fully costed plan. We are determined to keep our country safe, to reduce the burden of taxation, to grow the economy, to fund our public services, particularly defence in these difficult times. And what we have seen throughout this campaign is the Labour Party basically putting forward radio silence where their policy platform should be. And I think when the British people compare our bold plan with Labour Party's kind of vacuous lack of a plan, I think that will make a difference as we head towards polling day.
Right. I mean, you have been, and it looks like you're going to be tomorrow when we get the manifesto, very much in the business of handing out retail offers to try and tempt and please the voters. I mean, just to pick one that we know is going to be there, the promise of reducing national insurance, abolishing overtime national insurance, which is a plan costing tens of billions of pounds. Does it mean anything? Can it mean anything without a clear plan for paying for it?
Well, we have been absolutely clear. National insurance is an income tax. It is a form of income tax. It is a bureaucratic double taxation on work, and we're committed to progressively take that out of the equation. And I think it is absolutely right that we focus those tax cuts where we can afford them on the people that work hard and bring home the bacon, as it were. And that is absolutely right. And the way these things are paid for is by growing the economy. That is why we unlock the full potential of our businesses. That is why, you'll see us focus on helping businesses grow, helping businesses employ people, making sure that apprentices are well trained and ready for the workforce, making sure the people who have wallowed on incapacity benefits are helped to do as much as they can rather than limited in terms of what they can do in terms of jobs. All these things will have a cumulative impact to build a more energetic economy, and that is how you fund whilst also easing the tax burden on
Right. Are we
people.
talking about abolishing national insurance in the space of a single parliament over 4 or 5 years, which is a promise which is going to be worth tens of billions of pounds, north of 40, nearly 50 billion pounds? It's just not credible, is it? I mean, on promising to pay for that by growing the economy, it's simply not credible.
Well, so the counter argument, John, is the argument that Labour Party is making, which is that hardworking people should be taxed more.
No, I'm looking at the question of paying for a huge tax cut. I'm not at this moment looking at Labour's plan. I'm talking to you, and I'm glad you're here, about your plan.
But the point is, John, we have set out a position of principle, which is that hardworking people have the right to keep more of the money that they earn. National insurance contributions is an income tax. We should call it what it is. It's a double taxation on work. We want to encourage people into work. We want to let people keep more of the money that they earn whilst they work. And what we will do is through good management of the economy, a careful application of public spending to support the public services that people need and rely upon, whilst also allowing them to keep more of their own money. Because the alternative proposition is you just keep ramping up people's taxes. That is not what Conservatives do. We have had to put up taxes recently because of the brutal war in Ukraine and because of COVID, but we're committed to bringing them down, and we are the only party with a credible plan to do so.
Okay, I mean, look, I get the aspiration to allow people to keep more of their money. That is a basic Conservative principle. And in principle, we can see the appeal of that and the philosophical basis for it. But we're looking at real money. We're looking at real spending proposals, which are set out in black and white at the moment. And those plans at the moment, they envisage cuts in public spending away from protected areas like education and health of anything between 2 and 4%. And you're saying you're going to cut tax massively on top of that. How can you preserve these services? How can you stop them from deteriorating so much more seriously while doing that?
Well, look, the test of good government is not the quantum of money that you spend, but the quality of the public services that you deliver. And we know that there is reform. We've already demonstrated that you can reform public services, and we are committed to doing that. We have.
So
We
you're
have
telling me you
shown.
can cut taxes very, very significantly in your own area of responsibility when it comes to police. You're promising 8,000 more police. You're saying that when it comes to the related area of prisons, you're saying you can increase prison capacity by many, many thousands, spend billions more on prisons, and still cut taxes in the way that you describe. The numbers, they're not credible, are they, James?
But as I say, John, the alternative proposal is that we just keep ramping up taxes. That's the Labour's proposal. They just keep taxing until the pips squeak. And the problem with that, the problem with the commitment to just keep raising taxes, is it disincentivizes reform. It disincentivizes efficiency. The civil service, for example, over the last few years, has grown significantly. And there is credible reason for doing that. Some of the changes as we left the European Union required additional civil servants, but we have now also committed to get those figures back down only to where they were in 2016. So just returning to where we were before we left the European Union. And if the Labour Party won't even countenance good government like that, it is inevitable that they are going to have to ramp up taxes on hardworking people. And that's the
Yeah.
philosophical difference.
Well,
The Labour Party not even trying
it's
to
not an
raise taxes,
unreasonable presumption.
lower taxes.
Not an unreasonable presumption that whoever wins this election will have to raise taxes, probably quite significantly over the course of a parliament.
Well,
And
hang on.
no one's addressing that reality.
So
I say reality. The reality is set out by people like the IFS and the OBR.
Yes, and we're allowed to disagree.
Sure.
You're saying it is a reality. It is their viewpoint, and we have made it clear that we are committed to run a better government, not just a bigger government. That we want to deploy public spending effectively and in a way that really benefits
Yeah.
the British people. And if you don't even aspire to doing those things, you end up in the bear trap that the Labour Party have found itself into, which is basically that it is overcommitted, a £38 billion black hole when you compare their promises with their finances, which is why inevitably there will be an increase on the taxation of families. I know they rowed about these figures, but the bottom line, they haven't contested these figures. We're looking at £2,000 plus per family in terms of additional taxation under Labour, and that's just the things they've already.
Okay, let me look at spending on government departments in your area. You're promising 8,000 more police officers. We had a report just days ago which spoke about the police across England and Wales failing to solve a single burglary in half of the neighbourhoods of England and Wales over 3 years. It's fair to call that a dismal record, isn't it?
Well, look, crime has fallen, and we want to continue pushing down particularly violent crime. Crime has fallen. We've recruited 20,000 police officers already. We're committed to recruiting an extra 8,000. That will be paid for by eliminating the student discount surcharge. Sorry, the student discount on the visa surcharge.
Yeah.
So that money is.
Well, you need a good many migrants coming in, and you're committed to bringing those numbers down. James, we're running out of time, which you will understand, I know.
I've got to go as well.
Indeed. So let me ask you this. I mean, the weekend was overwhelmed by the issue of the D-Day ceremonies and the Prime Minister ducking out. I want to ask you this. The Prime Minister's apologised a couple of times now for ducking out of those ceremonies. There have been suggestions from people like Nigel Farage that he's not patriotic and that he doesn't understand British culture. Do you believe there's a racist undertone to that?
I disregard much of what Nigel says. He's a showman. He likes getting attention. He does things and says things. So broadcasters like you
Yeah,
ask serious politicians like me
yeah.
questions like this. And the bottom line is, I'm not going to play Nigel's game. He does these things to get attention, and just like a spoilt child, I don't think he should be rewarded for doing so. The Prime Minister is a hard-working public servant. He is absolutely dedicated to the protection of this country. That is why I'm very proud to be a
Yeah.
part of his government and support him in the work that
Oh,
he
now,
does.
what did you make in the moments that remain? What do you make of your predecessor, Suella Braverman, saying that the Conservative Party need to embrace reform at some point and invite Nigel Farage into the Tory party? Unite the right. That's the message. What do you say to that?
Well, Nigel's made it clear he wants to destroy the Conservative Party, and I don't embrace people that want to destroy my party and hurt the British people.
And do you, though, believe that it's necessary for your party to reach out to the constituency which appeals to reform? Older voters, conservative
We
inclined voters. Are you tilting to the right anyway?
John, we are committed to getting a broad base of support across the British electorate, all different age groups. And that's what the Conservative Party has always done. That is the party that we are, and that is the party that we'll continue to